Hello, Gerald Duran with Cana Global. Good to see you guys. We're coming to you right before the beginning of the new decade, 2020. And we wanted to invite you into a 21-day fast that we start on January 1. Now, if you've never fasted, fasting is something that that people of God have done for breakthroughs, for wisdom, for God's favor, for a variety of reasons, healing, mended relationships, God's ability, His insight, His peace. The list is endless. But usually people who are really looking to get deeper with God have been drawn into fasting. And if you go through the scriptures, there's examples everywhere from the Old Testament all the way into the New Testament. Now, if you're new to fasting, if you've never ever fasted, no big deal. I'm new to fasting. I didn't start fasting until this year in early 2019. During that time, I was really going to God and I was asking Him to give me some direction, some wisdom for Cana Global. I was struggling with some of our digital campaigns and I had a bunch of choices, things to decide, and I wasn't sure what to do. And so, of course, I go to the Word first, and James 1:5 says we can go to God for wisdom, and so that's what I did. And the Holy Spirit started putting in my heart, you know, this small voice. I recognized the voice of God, and it was, I want you to fast. Well, when God told me, I want you to fast, my first reaction was, get thee behind me, Satan. Because I didn't, you know, I thought, that can't be God. Now, if God comes to me and says, hey, we got a big T-bone for you, I'm in. Or if He says, hey, we got a plate of ribs from you from Chris and Pitts, I'm in, sign me up. But fasting, this was fresh, this was new. I started doing some research, and really everywhere I was looking, it was a couple of weeks when I was kind of mulling this over, and doing research, and I realized, okay, God, I will do it. And one day when I was in a conversation with Scott in his office, I noticed this book by Jentezen Franklin. It's called Fasting, and this book was sitting on his library. And, you know, he's got hundreds of books in his library, but it was just like a strobe light blinking at me. It really caught my attention. And so I went over and grabbed it. And on his copy, it was like he had all these tabs sticking out everywhere. And I could tell, man, he had really spent some time in that book. And I said, Scott, I had no idea that you were fasting, that you were fasting. You spent so much time fasting. And he says, well, recently, I haven't, but in earlier times in my life, I've spent a lot of time fasting. This is a fantastic book, so I ordered a copy of it, and it really changed my thinking with fasting. And so I started fasting. So, if you have something that you're going to God for, you have something very specific that you need, whether it's wisdom or some kind of breakthrough, whatever it is, fasting is one of the ways to get the breakthrough. We're not fasting to force God into something, not at all. But it's His way of doing things, just like praying is, and just like generous giving and a lot of other things that are in the Word. And in fact, if you go to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 6, it says, Matthew 5 verse 6, it says, blessed are those who hunger, and you'll be hungry, and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. And then in Matthew 6, I call it the trifecta. This is the NIV. Mine starts out with giving to the needy. So this is about generosity. That's the first thing. So definitely I'm doing that. The second thing was prayer. And so, yep, I'm spending time in prayer. This third thing down here with fasting, I guess I just must have skipped over it. But it ends, verse 18 ends with, your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. So check that out, Matthew 6. Now, we have some resources for you that I want to get to you. We're going to have a link down below to you. Jentezen Franklin has a website and a page with actually a free 21-day fasting devotional for this year. And so we'll have a link, and you could go there and get access to this free PDF. It's an ebook. Also, we'll have a link to Amazon where you could get this book. And then we've created a Facebook page, and there'll be a link there as well. And we encourage you to join our Facebook group. It's a Facebook group page under Cana Global. And those of you that want to join us, we can encourage each other, and we can share what we want to share. And so that's going to be there for you. One last thing. I'm asking if you have something very specific that you want us to pray for, there's a link of my email it to me, and every single day as I'm in this fast, this 21-day fast, that's where I'll be spending my time praying for you guys. So I hope you join us. I know it's a big challenge. I know I didn't give you a ton of time, but if you have something in front of you, a giant, some kind of big giant blocking your way, some kind of breakthrough that you need, if you're looking for answers to God, every single time in the Bible, when people went to God during a fast, except one instance when they did it in a very disrespectful way, so don't do it in a very disrespectful way, but every single time, 100% of the time, they had miraculous breakthroughs. So guys, we only have a few days left with 2020. If you don't see this till after, you don't have to start on the 1st. You can start any day you want. But we highly encourage you to get in on this fast with us. God bless you, and you guys have a great day.